Hi, everybody. Welcome to Coach Playbook with Paul LaPolice, your home for elite CFL breakdown analysis. Grey Cup week. Can't believe we're here. This is what we got. We have, in the West, we broke down Winnipeg's offense and defense versus Saskatchewan. In the East, we broke down a bunch of stuff for Toronto's defense. So you'll see a couple of coaches' playbooks on that. And then we're going to do Toronto-Winnipeg, both games. We'll do a coach's playbook on both of those football games. So there's going to be a lot of content this week. Now, we're going to talk today about Toronto's defense. They did some spectacular things, obviously taking the football away and all this. They played a lot more man coverage than I've seen them play, and they played it with two free safeties. Actually took the will linebacker out of the game at times. But one thing, they did get hit on a couple of what's called switching in man-to-man, or they didn't follow their man. So sometimes you don't want to get picked, and that happened a couple of times to them. So we'll show you some of those clips. Before I go, please turn notifications on and subscribe to the page. It's going to help support the page. So let's open the playbook on the Toronto Argonauts defense in the East Final. Metier gives the Argos such flexibility as a free safety because he's such a good athlete. He can play coverage too. And this is some of the things they can do to try to confuse quarterbacks. So there's four receivers over here. There's four people right there. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. But the free safety is number 4. So if you look, there is no free safety. This looks like cover zero, like there's nobody in the middle of the field. But something's going on because the halfback in a 4x1 stayed over here. So why does he do that? I believe that's Milton. So he's either going to pressure or he's probably going to rotate back. And that's what they're doing, rotating him to this side of the field. Now, he doesn't rotate great. So Cody recognizes this and he says, hey, listen, I'm going to take this post in the middle of the field because there's no free safety. But Milton just takes an angle that's a little too far. He's trying to rob that area. He's just got to go at a little bit higher angle because he ends up underneath the post. But that's the beauty of the defense of having an athletic free safety. You can let him play man-to-man, not worry, and then rotate somebody else. This is what I would call a rotation in man coverage. So somebody else is rotating to the middle of the field. You can see it from this angle right here. There's Milton. He's going to run underneath trying to rob whatever's in the middle of the field. He's just got to go at a higher angle. And he could have made that play. The Argonauts played with a bunch of defensive backs in this game. Sometimes this is an issue. They got beaten some switches and man coverage, which is going to happen. But let's kind of identify where everybody is. So Metier's right here. There's your 4 down linemen. There's your middle linebacker. Where's your will linebacker? He's not in. They took him out of the game, and they put number 41, Edouard, who's, I think that's how you say it. He's a free safety. So they got 2 free safeties in the game right now. So that gives them ability to do a multitude of coverages. He's now like looking for Diggs and Robin Diggs, and he's the deep player. Why? Because Montreal throws a lot of deep passes. So it's kind of a neat scheme. Where they get beat here, over here. Okay, they're in man coverage. And this is excellent by Montreal. One goes in like this. He's going to go like that and then run a corner route. He's going to start in, and then he's going to break out. Why you do this is because these two are in man-to-man. The inside player expects to take the inside route. The outside player takes the outside route. But once they switch, he has to fight over the top, and that leads to an easy completion, especially to the wide side of the field. And that's why sometimes in man coverage, it's best, not to be at 2 different levels. If they're one here and one here, they can pass that off and be better situated to take that one and not get leveraged. But this is one of the things the Argos got to clean up this week. Don't ever underestimate the motion and movement and moving it back, trying to create confusion for teams that play a lot of man coverage. So this scramble looks like, how does this guy wide open? There's a little bit of confusion by Milton here. And I'm going to show you from the end zone. But basically, there's a lot of movement trying to figure out who he got. I think he knows who he's got, but then he's just kind of unsure what route. Is it a crossing route or is it a diagonal? A crossing route would go like this. A diagonal would go like that. And it's closer to a diagonal, and I think he guesses and he gets beat. So how is this hard to think about? Say you're playing man. You got two people out here. Well, and he's stacked behind him. So you're trying to confuse. That's the tailback. So that's why the linebacker's here. Okay, he's got him. So now Milton's like, where am I? He's trying to figure out where his guy is. So then he sees, okay, Keon Julian Grant's coming over. You got him. I got this one. The back goes into the line of scrimmage. Now they're set on who they got. So Milton's now like, okay, this is mine, this is mine. But I think he just thinks it's a crossing route instead of what I would call a diagonal. He just gets leveraged. Great execution. But the Argos got to be, you're going to play a lot of man. You got to make sure you can run through all this wash and all these guys here. It's hard with the goalpost at the goal line. 2nd and 12 here, another different front. This is a incomplete pass rush. Certainly helps get home, but this could have been a big play. Now, a couple of different things going on here. There's no will linebacker in the game. We're like, well, who's this player? That's Flo. That's a rush end. This is what I would call a joker front. Joker front is when you have 4 down linemen and you take your rush end or your quick end, your defensive ends, and you make them a linebacker. They're more athletic guys, so it allows you to play multiple fronts and not disguise what you're doing. But there is no will linebacker in the game. There's 1 free safety. There's 2 free safeties, so they have a double free safety package. He's the deep player. He looks like he's robbing digs and middle of field plays, and everybody else is man-to-man. Here's where Toronto's got to make sure that they don't make mistakes. They could have gotten burned on this one. So when you have Amos, that's his player. And you also have a back here. So you have 3 people here. So when the back goes across, instead of Winton chasing him, he passes it. And what does that mean? He goes, hey, switch, you take it. I'm going to wait for this crossing route. I'll pick that up, man. But Amos doesn't. And that's what, it's kind of hard. He starts to point and starts to go, but then he doesn't recognize this one. So either they're going to switch this fully or they're not. Or Flo's got to pick that one up, and he just doesn't work on it a lot. I'm not sure whether they're allowing a halfback and a middle linebacker to switch. I'm not sure what the rules are. But either way, he comes out the back door, and if this is completed, there's nobody there. So you just got to make sure they got good communication. This is one of the advantages of why playing man coverage and switching and passing off routes as they happen can create great opportunities. This should have been an interception almost by Metier, and I think he could have run for a while. Let's understand and break down how this happens. So let's start with the defensive line. There's 4 defensive linemen. We're good. Okay, there's 4. Here's the 1 linebacker. He's going to blitz. So they have 5 players coming. So there's nobody in the middle of the field. So there's a tendency for easy throws. But let's go through how everybody's covering down. 1, 2, 3. Those guys are in man-to-man. Those 2 are man-to-man. Now, they have 2 safeties. One's playing deep safety and one's kind of like the hole player. So he's going to rob digs or he's going to pick up crossing routes. So what happens? He takes this guy going out in the flat. So he lets his guy go to the middle. See that? He lets that's his man. So what happened? He switched because he saw him coming out. So he took it. So Mechie comes up to take this one. Now as Mechie's dropping down, here comes another cross. So as the boundary corner is chasing, he stops and he says, oh, I'm going to pick up this guy, man. Mechie says, I'm going to now pick up this person and man. That's difficult to pass off and recognize and do. But when you do it correctly in man coverage, quarterback never sees what's happening. That's what happened right there. So there's a lot of math that goes on, and that's why there's so much pointing going on. Hey, look, somebody's coming out. Well, when somebody goes out, somebody comes in. So now he's going to pick up and chase that. Oh, then he sees another crossing route. So then he takes this one. So that's the beauty of doing all these different rubs, like this prevents people from rubbing you and picking you, but you just have to be on the same page. And on this play, Toronto was. Second and short, another opportunity to get a pick in man coverage and a mistake. I don't want to say a mistake either. There was a good rub. So here's the back. So when you're in man coverage, one of these two have to cover the back. The Will linebacker blitzed. So now he is part of the pass rush. So you have one left. So Winton is in coverage. You see him starting to go. And Benji Franklin is just locked up right here. Now, normally linebackers and DBs don't switch. So he would have to fight over the top of this to prevent it from being a touchdown. If you go underneath it, you'll probably miss it and it'll be a touchdown. But I think he's trying to say, hey, listen, Benji, I'll take this one, you take that one. And that's why you have problems sometimes in middle linebacker covering in case that route went downfield. But you at least prevent this if you did switch this. So Benji locks this. They set right there, outflank the defense. Nice touchdown. So that's one of the things. You can see it from this angle right here. His whole job is to impede him, run his route right in front of him, outflank the defense, throw the ball into the flat. So either got to switch that, figure out what to do. 2-point conversion to tie the game. Great play by Benji Franklin. Good understanding of what's happening. Good recognition. I love what he does here. So this concept a lot of teams run. He's going to run in, angle, and then run a corner route. And then he's going to go out in the flat. And if he locks it, you have a natural pick. But good switch by the Argos. But Franklin's staying down here because if you watch him, the whole time he's saying, I've got him covered. I know he wants to throw the corner route. So he just sits there anticipating, and once he sees the ball thrown, he runs underneath the corner route. So great anticipation, understanding like, I got this covered right now. Quarterback's not going to throw this. He thinks because they switched, and Milton is leveraged. See that? What I mean by leverage, he's inside on an outside breaking route. So he's protecting it by just just waiting. I'm just giving enough presence so he thinks I'm low, but I'm really driving underneath that. That's a great play. So some issues they got to get better at in some of their man coverage, but this is one of the great plays they made in man coverage.